So, cheers and enjoy the beers. Yes, good evening and welcome. And I still haven't done it properly, but actually a proper introduction. I've done all that work for the intro, so I might as well play it. I've had to, I spent that time doing it, so I'm going to damn well play it and do a proper show intro, because later on, probably tomorrow morning when I go to edit, I'll edit that first 10 minutes out. So there's probably no point telling you about it. But yes, hopefully everyone can actually hear me now, because I'm still not sure everybody could. But yes, welcome along to an unusual, rare Friday evening show. I've done one once before, but this one is just because I've got some live football to watch later on the old Sky, thanks to Uncle Rupert messing about with the fixtures for money, and I've begrudgingly given me 30 odd quid for a month's viewing pleasure. As you'll probably know, I'm a Plymouth Argyle fan from my sins. I've been 28 years, so I'm watching them tonight. They are playing Watford. I know a few Watford fans, which is only just up the road. So I probably should be a Watford fan. In fact, Watford was one of the first ever games I remember watching on TV, the '84 Cup final when they lost to Everton. That's a long time ago. So yeah, I don't know why I never became a Watford fan. And a few years later, I watched a bit of football. I was never allowed to go in the '80s, and then Argyle kind of found me in a long and roundabout way. So it's not quite a Bash the Stash style show, even though I've got 4 beers to get through. A Watford one, and 3 nothing to do with Argyle or Plymouth whatsoever. They're just wrapped in green. So I've titled the show Up the Greens, and I've got 3 beers that have been in my stash too long and I've wanted to drink, so we'll get through them eventually. The first one up is one I've actually done before on a live, I believe. It's from my good old Creative Juices up in Rickmansworth, and because it's got the old Watford logo on, they did it in combination with Watford. I thought I'd start with that, but again, it's not an official show beer, it's just like a pre-one. So 3 green beers and 1 Watford one. Hopefully that's the scoreline. How about that? You never know. You never know. Anyway, thanks everybody for dropping in. Once again, Rob, thank you for guiding me through the technical difficulties. Shark, thanks for popping in. Yeah, I think I need to, completely start again. In life as in YouTube, but there we go. Mr. Wilson, thanks for popping in. Not doing the photograph on this one because I've had it before and I've done the photo, so I kind of don't need to, but I will do with the others. So this is in the build-up to the football tonight. We've always tried not to really talk about football on this show, me and Rasco back in the day, mostly because Rasco's a QPR fan and therefore doesn't know anything about football. Certainly not this season, but I did promise I'd give him a mention tonight. It's football's not for everyone. Not everybody likes it, so like, I don't do this for the views, but it does turn people off if you talk too much about football. So we do it every now and again, unless I'm talking to other people who are talking about football, and happily do all of that. I don't mind talking about football, and football and beer quite often, I think, go hand in hand. The first beer up from Creative Juices, it's called Kiss the Sky. It is a light beer to be getting on with. Guess what? As always, forgotten the thing to read the cans. You're going to have to start reminding me about the magnifying glass or the magnifying glass. Mango Pale without prejudice. Yeah, 3.6%. So really good mango flavour. There's a little bit of hoppiness sparkling in the background, touch of grapefruit. Going on, but not too much, thankfully, for my palate. Obviously, asked Paul to Paul's beer reviews about this one. I drunk it on a live show where he came on for a beer a few months back. So I like the can art, despite not really liking red, but yeah, red and yellow and Watford colours on it. I don't think they'll be playing red and yellow today because they're away. We're at down at Home Park in Plymouth. Haven't been there for a number of years, regrettably, for various reasons. First of all, everything that went on in the last 4 years, and even a couple of years before that, because it was just getting so expensive to travel down, either on the train. I wouldn't drive down on the day, although I have done. I drove down on a Tuesday night once. I think when we were playing Watford, actually. Done that more than once. I'm only about 8 miles from Watford, so as I say, should probably be a Watford fan. Yeah, do you know what? I kind of should have realised that was going to come up, because he's a very popular figure, obviously. But you know what? Now it's weird as an Argyle fan. It's so weird that now it's just, oh yeah, Rooney's our manager. Like, of course he is. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's certainly the biggest name, arguably the biggest name we've had as a manager. And we've had Neil Warnock, we've had Ian Holloway. So yeah, probably the biggest name. And yeah, it was a massive shock when it was announced in the summer. And it was like, yeah, what, Wayne Rooney, are you sure? Didn't think it would actually happen. It came out as a bit of a rumour. And then the next day, yeah, there he was signing. And it makes a lot of sense. I can see why it's happened. Can't see how. Like, what, apparently, he just applied for it and the name came up or something. I don't think they went hunting for him, but they were interviewing people, and it felt like they've just contacted him and said, "Here, do you fancy a go?" It felt a bit like it was his last chance saloon as a manager, having not done that well elsewhere, to big fanfare and lots of money, and getting relieved of his duties. So we was all very, very, I think, concerned slightly with the money side of things. I wonder if they said to him, "Look, you've got to come here and show that you mean business and you're going to do right." I hope he's got a good severance contract if he doesn't do well. So far, I would say he's met expectations. Even with Rooney as a manager, I don't think Argyle are expected to win the league. I'm obviously biased, but looking at our team, we have got some very, very good players there that should be able to go out and compete at least for the playoffs or something. So he's fitted in well. He talks a surprisingly good game, unbelievably good game. He's more erudite than I'd imagined, and that sounds a bit of a slight on the man. I do apologise. It's not meant like that, but yeah, he talks a good game. He's kept most of the spine of the team. He did make a little admission at the start of the season. The first game we got spanked 5-0, and he did say, I bought a load of players in. He bought some good players, to be fair. It looked all right on paper, and he put too many of them in, and he left out a few of like the team from last season. That okay, we only just avoided relegation, but we did have a really good team, and we had a good spine of a team as well. So he's kind of put that back together. There's a couple of signings I'm not sure about. I didn't see too much of him at other places. Like, yeah, I don't really know much about him at Derby because I wasn't following Derby. I certainly wasn't following him in the States. I'm not particularly bothered on celebrity. I mean, as a footballer, as an England fan, obviously, great player and all that. No, absolutely, he scored some amazing goals. But I wasn't particularly following him. It still remains to be seen. The jury's still out a little bit because we're not absolutely smashing it. He has had to rotate the team a lot. We have been a bit unlucky, and every team says that, a bit unlucky on injuries. Lost our world-class goalkeeper at Sheffield United for £3 million. Managed to keep a player that was muted at being £11 million to Lazio in the summer and turned that down. Sorry, last season. Was touted as going to Burnley. Morgan Whittaker scored some amazing goals, but he's a bit of a luxury player. Will turn a defender inside out, cut in onto his left and smash the ball in top corner, but he won't do it every game. Arguably you can't, and a lot of people found him out and he doesn't get the option now. But yeah, so I thought it was a good appointment of Rooney, and in terms of a little bit of celebrity, so he's got a guy behind him. He knows him from youth. Who's director of football. So I think who sort of took over for the last few games when we lost our previous managers, and did well, and is obviously running the team in terms of the football profile and the thinking, the football like tactics and logic. But I think Rooney's his own man as well. He's picking his own players and works well with our director of football. So I think Rooney, to a certain extent, is there for the front. to do the media and stuff like that, because he's into that and used to it, and the director of football isn't really that fussed about it. He wants to stay in the background a bit, which is fine, and that seems to have worked pretty well. Well, that's bound to be a rumour, isn't it? Rumour's heading to the jungle to meet Colleen. I mean, he would probably, I don't know, I imagine he's getting more money just for that appearance than he does for Argyle, do you know what I mean? So if he was the timings are wrong for that, because if he was going to do that, that would have been last week. He can nip over to Australia. Is it still Australia? He was over here for a while, wasn't it? But I don't watch it, not since about the first series. So, yeah, if he was going to do that, he should have done that last week, left director of football to do it. But that's the other thing. If he does leave, he could just leave the director of football to it, but that's not in his contract. I can't see how we'd allow that. I can't see how we'd get around that. His job is in Plymouth, and he is down there. And Colleen's back in Manchester, which is, again, a bit weird and always worrying when, managers have got a young family and they're moving about the country. So I don't really know how that would work. So we've got a game tonight, and then our next game is... Have we not got a midweek game? So he might be able to go a few days, leave training to the coaches and stuff like that, but he should really be back for the game next Saturday. But yeah, don't know. That would be bad, I think. Obviously, he's a name, and we did get mentioned. Apparently, we got a mention. I saw a page on the Argyle Facebook page that we got mentioned on that show, because it's an obvious thing to talk about, isn't it? I suppose. So yeah. Remember, there's no interest in directors of football or set piece coaches. Now it's all about the structure. Look at my team, United. Which one? There's loads of Uniteds. Cities, towns, only one Argyle. Anyway, so it's just what I mean. Yeah, again, I haven't really paid a lot of attention to the Prem for a long time, to be fair, because we haven't made it there yet, but ever. But yeah, Man United aren't having a great time. Modern football's a funny old thing, isn't it? But that's not to say that like directors of football aren't a good thing. We've had one or two, but generally our managers run a team. We are fairly old school in that, but we have got a bit of modern progressive thinking. We've got quite a lot of coaches, and even I don't know half of them, especially some of the ones that Rooney's brought in. But we've been pretty fair. We've got a couple of coaches that have been there, or certainly one. Kevin Anscoville's been there for a long time. It's kind of almost, I think when Rooney came in, certainly the last managers before that had said, look, this is the coaching team. You have to kind of fit in with that. They have brought their own assistants in and stuff, but they've still got the coaching team in the background. So as a club, we're pretty well run, despite the fact that our chairman lives in the US, is made his money in the US, banking and finance and all that sort of thing. But he's over here fairly regularly. But even again, he's got a good team in the boardroom that do the day-to-day running of the club. And we reasonably live within our means. We don't offer silly money, like some teams offering silly money to go for broke, because he's only got a finite amount of resources, and he's in finance. So he knows how to spend, but he also knows how to not spend. You don't get shitloads of money by necessarily spending wildly. Sometimes you do, you take a gamble, but he kind of hasn't. He's kept the reins pretty well. He is first and foremost a fan, has been, born in the city and stuff. So he hasn't been involved with the club for a long time. So for the last 6 or 7 years, took over from a chairman who took us out of administration, but didn't really have the money to do it, and wasn't a football fan, let alone a fan of the club. He said he got into it because he was a businessman, so he had interest down in the southwest, and he took it over, but we couldn't really take it that next step. So the current chairman, Simon Hallett, stepped in, and yeah, it's a bloody silly game. But you know what? I sort of fallen out of love with the game a little bit. I still watch it, but in the last 4 years, it just hasn't seemed that important. And to some people, it is important, and I get that. So I haven't completely fallen out of love of it. I still watch it. I haven't been to a game at any level No, that's not true. I went to a women's game down the road last year because it was only down the road. Funny enough, that was Watford. That was Argyle women versus Watford because they play down at Ruislip Town where Wildstone play. So yeah, I sort of stood there and went, it's great. What I just couldn't do it in the same way as I used to. You know, go to the pub beforehand, have a load, bouncing around, and I still don't. So I kind of watch from afar at the moment, which is why I've begrudgingly paid my money to Uncle Rupert for Sky. But it's a good deal. You know, it's gone up again this year, like 40%. Not 40%, like $14.99 this year compared to like $11.99 for an individual game. So I spent me $34.99 and got 3 games. But we are on Sky a lot more. We are on the telly, but that means a lot more Friday nights, Saturday lunchtimes. I had a great one lined up. QPR in August, brilliant. Get everybody down to Brewery. It's 3 stops on the tube from QPR. Come and have a couple of jars. Come back here after the game. 12:30 kickoff. It's like, well, yeah, and then people don't want to come afterwards because they want to be getting home and stuff like that. So, yeah, that wasn't great. That's not great for Sky. This is a good beer still. I'm a little concerned sometimes about the kind of hop note on it. Comes and goes. But the mango flavour on it, and again, it's quite light. So it's a good starter beer. Again, had it on tap up at Creative Juices. Really smashable beer. Say light at 3.6. So a good start for 10. So we'll park that one. Don't know if that means I think Watford are going to go 1 up. Let's say that. Let's say I think that's what the scoreline is going to be. Watford 1 up. It's at Own Park. We do well at Own Park. We don't really win away. We didn't win at Watford either. I don't remember the results. I'm not one of them people that remembers, like, clinically remembers games and goals. Other people are. So that was a little starter one. This one, I think officially will be beer number 1, please. Which is Parka from Double Barrel Brewing. It's a 4.5% pale ale. Let's get it in a glass and see where we get on. It's all put together on a hoof, you know. Yeah, so I had a few double barrel beers earlier in the year because they brought out a beer called Kitchen Disco. Still haven't got that video up yet. But yeah, let's get this into the glass. It is indeed a very, very pale ale. Go with the Indie Rabble glass on this one. Due to, and if I may, oh, that's a bad focus. So, if I may, just have a moment for the demise of my beloved Turning Point glass. That shape, you know, I love that shape of glass. I say it every time, really, and that's the ones I generally use. But yeah, my Turning Point glass gone for a burn. Took a topple off the kitchen cabinet as I turned around, knocked a plate. Trying to get the cat out. Yeah, the damn cat. She's out. She's out at the moment. I know we had this fun in the other stream. I'm just a clumsy fucker because I knocked the microphone off there. Oh, you saw that, did you? Ah, yes. Well done, Mr. Wilson, top man, sir. Thank you very much indeed. Let's get. I did say I was going to do the photos on this one. Whether or not I get a chance to put the photos up again tomorrow, I never got a chance to do the ones during the week. Seen them up there, mostly because I run out of words. But yeah, I might get them up next week. I do like doing the reviews on Instagram, but sometimes I just run out of time for the words, you know. I could just put the pictures up and come back and do the words because I don't know who actually reads them. Put your hands up if you actually read my written reviews on Instagram. I'd love to know. Slightly stubby little glass in the photos. And that one doesn't work. for the shadow, so we'll do this again. I'm not sure if I like portrait mode. It's a funny thing with the lights. Oh fuck, you know what I didn't do? See, I can't get it right. I meant to do the whole story thing because I always normally do that. No, I didn't do that. Well, there you go. Yeah, so double barrels out in Berkshire, on the other side of Reading, and a couple of their beers. Look, live shit posting on Instagram. There's the link thing gone. Hold on. Oh no, there it is. So I normally put a link up so that people, because on Instagram you can't, on post you can't put a link to the thing, so nobody, and I don't know, nobody ever, I don't click links, but if there's not a link there, nobody will go to the stories or the bios often, I don't think anyway. But if you put a link up, people will actually click. Yeah, not that I'm doing it for the views, but it does help if there's one or two. So it's helpful if I let people know. So let's copy the link, put this on quickly. What's happened there? Why has that gone like that? For God's sake. Why can't shit just work, man? So you can all rush over to Instagram and click the link for me now. That'd be nice. So I know who's looked at it. I'm not sure if it's worth doing, but I'd do it anyway. Be helpful I've done it in time, wouldn't it? But you know my timekeeping. It's terrible. That's a good question, by the way, Mr. B. We like music. Semper Fidelis. I'll go use it on a match day. Apparently, it's royalty free on YouTube, so that's why I put it on the. Right, there we go. That's now up there on stories. So, all right, quickly, let's get into this before I forget. Yeah, good hop note on that. Lots of fruitiness. Touch your pale malt. You smell that there. Cheers. It's a good beer. Because it's quite light and pale, it goes a little bit more melon than grapefruit, which is not a bad thing. Definitely a smattering of grapefruit there, though. I think that'll develop a bit more. Yeah, there's a bit of honeydew melon going on there. Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to work it out. It is a what are they called? Mobile electric work platforms. It's a tool hire company called the LTC Group. So this is a top from about 6 seasons ago. I didn't take this one off. It's just really poor quality. Has come off in the wash. I quite like that logo. I did, however, physically remove the Ginsters logo because it's red. I don't think we should have anything to do with red on an Argyle top because the colours are green, black and white. Well, green and black, a little bit of white has come in too much recently, but I don't mind that. That works for me. Yeah, we have fairly small scale sponsors at Argyle. Yeah, and that's the other annoying thing about football these days. Really does annoy me. Keep changing the top every single season. Used to be every 2 years. Used to be, well, rarely, but then they found out that they could make more money by doing it every. Bear with me a second. Family stuff. Bear with. I would say, yeah, we have fairly small scale sponsors. This season is a local construction company. you know, got plenty of options in Plymouth, I suppose. But yeah, quite local sponsors really, which is fine, fair enough. Yeah, except for Ginsters was our sponsor for a long time, and although I don't mind the product, not against the occasional Ginsters pastry slice, not the pasties, they're shit, but yeah, the pastry slices for breakfast occasionally. But yeah, they did actually, to be fair, they acquiesced Ginsters in the last couple of years of the sponsorship. And we had a white shirt where they just put the word Ginsters in black and white against the white shirt. And then they put it on the green shirt as well, which looked much better. They actually dropped the red for us. So fair play to Ginsters, a bit divisive. Not a lot of people like them, but obviously they're popular mass-produced food, so fair play. I just realised I never ever do score predictions. So saying 3-1 is completely against what I ever do, because I think I'm quite superstitious as a football fan. Does anybody else have these kind of superstitions? So I don't predict scores because it can always go against you. I don't like red on. I don't wear anything red with green on a match day. I don't wear anything blue. I don't like blue and green together. Which used to be a problem with jeans, but then I just bought a pair of black jeans. I even bought a pair of green jeans once just to go to football. And indeed wear quite a lot of green, which is an odd colour, but I've always been different in a way, so I like to do things differently. Not everybody likes green. I love green. It's my favourite colour. Ordered a new yeast today to try some pales. Pomona from Lalaman, peach and apricot notes. Do you use a house yeast or dry yeast on each brew? We don't use a house yeast. We're not big enough yet. We tried. My boss tried to cultivate a yeast from the Hefeweizen, because Hefeweizen yeast was difficult to get hold of. Again, we're not big enough to have a house yeast. We mostly, I think most of it is a third ale yeast. We have used stuff from Lallemand. We've used stuff from, what are they called? No, I think they're grain suppliers, aren't they? Lothran rather than yeast. Yeah, we used a yeast each time. We certainly haven't got any. We haven't got like a lab or anything, or even an area there where we could do that. I don't know enough about it. It's too technical for me. But it's something my boss is looking into. So, yeah, I think if we had a house yeast, it's basically just whatever wild yeast floats by, because we're on a farm at the bottom of a hill. So there is a bit of house yeast about, a bit of wild yeast about, which is good and bad. Yeah. Bear with. Yeah, and it obviously the yeast depends upon each beer brewed. I'm thinking of doing a bit more about learning about beer. I think I need to know more. Say, most of my job really is lifting and shifting, and selling beer on the bar on the weekend. I thought I would be able to, because I have the interest, to pick up more. And I think my boss has tried to impart the knowledge that he has, and my old thick head, it don't really go in a lot of time. I sort of very much learn on the job. I'm not really very good at textbook style learning, so I looked at the courses. I say it's all kind of new, and I'm learning and picking up stuff as I go. I tried to do the home brewing myself here, and I had to get other people in to actually just read the recipe and go through the stages. And because of all that, I'm more definitely an assistant rather than a brewer. I keep getting referred to as a brewer up there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not really. And there was a good point that was made. That stream I did last week about small batch brewing, and their brewer there was like, brewers don't make beer. Brewers make wort, basically sugar water. That's what they make. Then they put it into the tank, and the beer makes the beer, or the yeast makes the beer. The beer just goes off and does its thing. The brewers don't have that much input. Obviously, there's a bit of science involved, and they can, temperatures has to be right and blah blah blah. But brewers don't make beer. Brewers make water, sugar water, and then the beer goes and do it. But I don't know enough about it. It turns out, and I never thought I'd say this, but it turns out I'm actually better at standing on the bar on a Saturday and describing the beers to people and selling the beers. You get a lot of people who don't much about beer, much about the beers particularly. You get a lot of comments up there. It's like, what's your most like a lager that you've got? Like, well, that would be the Pilsner lager. Is the most lagery thing we've got. It's actually the only lager we've got. Till next month, hopefully. We've got another lager on the go. That'll be interesting. 2 lagers playing off against each other. That's where the real thing comes in, and people can make for their own decisions. Brewers make yeast food. Yeah, exactly. I never really looked at it like that until I saw that video from Small Batch where he said that. And it's like, I'd never considered that. Even with the small amount of brewing I've done, it was like it's a lot of involvement, a lot of work for not actually having to do a lot. You don't do the process. The process takes care of itself in many ways, good or bad. It hasn't developed this one actually. It hasn't developed that grapefruit I thought it was going to. It's definitely sort of erring on the side of melon with a little bit of grapefruit on the back. 4.5%. So I'm staying light. I'm not staying light after this, by the way, which is possibly a mistake for a Friday night before football, but that's never stopped me in the past. So double-barreled brewing. This says our flagship hazy pale ale is full of vibrant and juicy citrus notes from all the Citra dry hop. I'm drinking and almost enjoying a Citra hopped beer. Well, it has happened before. It's not the first time, but there you go. Light and refreshing. Yeah, that's true. It's super sessionable with tropical fruit and grapefruit notes, all wrapped up with a soft bitterness. To be fair, I wouldn't necessarily have gone with Citra, but I can see it now. I was thinking there's a bit more sort of melon type notes there. And especially Citra on the dry hop, I think is probably the worst because it brings out all that grapefruit, but the grapefruit's well hidden. I wonder if there's oats in this which kind of smooths it out a little bit. Yes, there is. Yeah, there you go. I'm well up for oats in beer, to be fair. I've said that before. Double barreled are a modern independent brewery based in Reading, Berkshire. We specialised in balanced and brilliant beers, packed full of flavour and with epic drinkability. Brewed and packaged by a passionate team with an unwavering dedication to quality and love for great beer. Now that's fair play. the beers, the few beers, I only actually got like a small, I think it was 6 or 8 beers off them. Each ones are okay. I've still got a couple left actually. Best before end, 22nd of the 1st. I have to note this now that I'm in date drinking a beer because I drink so much out of date beers. So basically provide good food and great environment for the proper workers that used to make the beer. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so for a Citra-led beer, I say my boss did a Citra beer over the summer, very hazy. It was much heavier than that. That is kind of quite light on the pale ale. But yeah, an all Citra lineup on the bar at Peril. So maybe my taste buds are changing, or maybe just I'm getting better beers. Yeah, some fairly good lacing on that beer. I'm never sure. This one's a real ale glass, Indie will say. So I'm never sure about putting these beers in this glass, but it's the next best glass to my favourite one, so it had to be done today. As I say, having lost the turning point glass. There's a point I was going to make, and I can't remember what it is now. So yeah, how does everybody feel about an early Friday evening stream? It used to happen all the time. There used to be lots of kind of early Friday kind of pub streams, and it seems that there's not a lot about at the moment. Is everybody else joining me for a beer? What's anybody else got in the glass, by the way, at this time of day? Yeah, anybody joining me a Friday night? I'm not going to go too large. I see I've got these beers. Probably have a couple over whilst watching the football, because it has to be done. It's not compulsory to drink beer whilst watching football, but especially with Argyle, it does help. And I am, yeah, I don't always, especially if I'm watching at home on the laptop. It's also, that's the other thing about it. I prefer drinking out and about because I'm not really at the moment and not really going to football. Football feels a bit different. It's weird watching it sober. So yeah, I have a couple of beers with it, but not on the large as I used to. Fridays used to be so busy on YouTube. Yeah, it does feel like, and in fact during the week a lot it feels like. So I kind of started Monday and Tuesday mostly because I felt my place in the hierarchy was slotting where other people weren't doing streams, because I'm not doing it for the views, but it's nice to get some. So maybe people aren't drinking Mondays and Tuesdays, but because I started doing the whole Monday club, Tuesday tipple kind of thing. Mostly to get through the stash. But yeah, so yeah, I did notice there's less on a Friday now. I think it reflects the times than it is the fact that probably most people are out and about now on a Friday and Saturday. Even a Wednesday and a Thursday. If you're a beer drinker, beer drinking at home is great, but it's no substitute. I've got to be honest, it's no substitute for getting to the pub, meeting your mates down a local or whatever, that sort of thing. It's just one of those things. But I never used to drink at home that much, and I still am now. So. And I've got, as I say, I've still got too many beers in the stash. It's still this afternoon I was eyeing up another order. I'll be honest, it was from McColl's. And then I saw a post on Instagram that they've got a Black Friday. I thought that was this today, but it's Black Friday week now. So they've got a Black Friday discount next Friday. So I might just wait a bit and get the beers from them, and I'll get another glass. Oi, cheers to lad. Think Rooney will destroy you tonight. Who? What do you mean he'll destroy me? He's our manager. How's he going to destroy us? I haven't seen the team sheet yet. That won't come out for, well, it might be half hour or so. Rooney will destroy us. Well, it's at home, so we're all right. If it was away, that'd be a different matter. But I don't think it's Rooney's to destroy it, really. Although he did assemble the team, it's only the team he's got in front of him. So who knows? Yeah. Go on, Mersey. Go on. What do you think of Rooney at Argyle? What is that? Is that appointment of the century or what? Is that? Unexpectedly, I'm enjoying that for a Citra beer. If I'd got all the way through that and not realised it was a Citra beer, it would have been better. But I'm not. I wouldn't have said that then. Found out Citra beer, I'm not enjoying it. But yeah, it is quite light, refreshing. Like I say, I'm getting more melon than grapefruit. But it is balanced across those citrus flavours, and a little bit of melon maybe because of the lightness, I think, and the fruitiness. But yeah, there's that kind of grapefruit bitterness there. Ordered a hop today, Crush. Have you heard or had? I have not heard of that one. I wonder if Mersey has, or I've seen it in a beer. There's quite a lot of new hop varieties going about. I've seen Crush. I've seen one called Tango. We had one last month called Pacific Sunrise, which again was in the very hazy, rotating hop lineup. So it was Nelson and Pacific Sunrise, and that was one of the best versions of that beer, but oddly still not as good as the Citra lineup. We've got one in the hazy this time, and I've suddenly forgotten what it is. It's another new one to us, but it's an Antipodean hop, I think, New Zealand again. Apparently struggling to get hold of Motueka. I don't know if there's a Motueka shortage or something at the moment, which is annoying because it's one of our main hopped beers. I say us. I work there, but I don't know how far I'm meant to talk about the brewery because I'm just working there, so I don't want to give away too many secrets. But we're not that big a brewery to give secrets away. It's like, and I still don't know whether I talk about Paravel too much, enough, or just about the right note, or just about the right amount. It's a fine balance. Love Motueka. So I never get lime from Motueka, or maybe I never get lime from that beer. I do like a little bit of lime cutting across sometimes. It feels like there could be a little bit of lime there as well. Now we say that. Oh, just got a message. I think we might be in for a little visit, hopefully, if technology lines up. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. By the way, big note and a shout out. I got a little shout out on Instagram this week from an account called Ale and Audio. I don't know if anybody's come across this one. They have a little feature about home bars and pub sheds. And they messaged me and said, talk about your home bar. And I sort of had to say, well, it's not really a bar. I just call it a bar called the Disco Arms. It's just sort of a cabinet, really, with some paraphernalia on it, some beer-related stuff. But apparently that counts as a home bar, so I'm kind of happy about it. I didn't mean to build it up with a bar top and a hand port. That was 4.5 years ago, and these things don't happen overnight, or indeed 4.5 years. You think he'll destroy us in his competence? He's not incompetent. He is not incompetent, and that surprises me, I must admit. He talks a good game. He does know what he's doing. He makes some good calls. He's signed a few players, I think, all but one of which has been decent. In fact, he didn't sign him. We just got him back. We had him last season. I'm not so sure about him. I think that some of the players he signed have been interesting. We've had a lot of problems with injuries. Red card we had the other day wasn't great, but that's not Rooney's fault. So he's had to change the lineup a lot, which is fine. I think we've got a really good team. I think he's signed some good players. Some of them are a bit weird, like Andre Gray. He's been around and about, but not sparkled, but he's been around and about. But he scored a great goal the other day, so he's got choices to make. So yeah, I don't think really is incompetent. The jury's still out slightly, but it's been hell of a signing. And you know what? It is never ever dull being an Argyle fan. Sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's annoying, but there's always something going on. It's never done, really isn't. It's like being a beer reviewer. There's always something to do, always something going on. Luke, Mr. Ford, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing all right. See your whiskey reviews doing the other day with Liam. Don't know anything about whiskey, but I found that kind of enjoying. Just sat and listened to people talking about things that I don't know a lot about. That was good. But yeah, hey up. Hope you're doing all right for a Friday night. I'm unusually online on a Friday night. What's going on? Just come here for a bit of good football banter and Mersey beers. Love, peace and happiness as always. Really buzzing for next week, but this evening I'm planning meals, videos and getting ready to return back to work. Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Back at the cafe, I presume. Yes. Oh yeah, mate, have a good one. Yeah, I'll pop in and out of the food reviews as well. Enjoy that stuff. Didn't realise Josh Whittaker was an Argyle fan. Yes, indeed. Yes, he's very well known. Probably one of our most well-known Argyle fans. More active, certainly, than Dawn French. He went to school in Plymouth, or was maybe born there, and has been to a couple of games. Probably, I would say, Josh Whittaker is the most famous Argyle fan. The other side of Woody the Drum from Bastille. And probably the most famous since Michael Foot. That was good. That was like 20 years ago. Yeah. And I don't know, he's... I see him on the train a couple of times coming back from Plymouth. I've never got around to speaking to him. And he did say he was going to come down to the fans event at some point. But yeah. Everybody knows something about Argyle, even though it's a kind of very unfashionable team from the far reaches of the country. It's a bit of a trek to get to, but when Argyle's been in town, we come, drink heavily, travel well, despite the distance, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun in the last 28 years. 28 years. I'd say, most well-known YouTuber Argyle fan. I'm definitely not the most famous YouTuber. The most famous YouTuber Argyle fan is, love him or hate him, Pieface, who was on. Became known on Deal or No Deal, on 7 grand on Deal or No Deal. Talked about Argyle then, and has started, I think last season, his own YouTube channel, kind of vlogging his travels with Argyle, and also all the other stuff he does. He does a lot of Twitch streaming about gaming. He'll just game overnight and then get on the train to an Argyle away game kind of thing. Yeah, he's definitely more famous than me in the YouTube world. I'm only famous maybe in your world, famous as an Argyle fan. There's a lot of us about. You'd be surprised. Argyle fans get all over the country. It always amuses me or annoys me when commentators say, yeah, the Argyle fans have travelled 630 miles or whatever it is today. It's like only some of them. And fair play to the ones that travel from Plymouth every other week or whatever for away games, that they have travelled at least 300 miles to any game. Like the closest game this season is Bristol, and that's like an hour and a half away. But yeah, massive support in London because people travel. This is what clubs forget, commentators forget, and the police forget. You don't have to live in your city or town to support the team you support. And we've seen this. Like, I remember that there was one time we was at Reading Reading's great for. I used to go to Reading all the time because it's like a bus and a train ride away from me. It takes me about an hour and a half. And we come back and we got onto the platform and they herded us off the bus onto the platform, and there's a Plymouth train waiting. And there's a line of police. And I'm like, excuse me, mate, I'm going this way. He's like, no, this is your train. I said, it bloody ain't, mate. He says, why? Where are you going? I said, Hayes. And it was Devon, so they were getting on the train as well. Devon Constabulary. He said, well, where's that? I said, it's about 4 stops that way, mate. I ain't getting on this train. It's not going where I live, not going where I want to go. And he's like, he hadn't got a clue. I'm like, what? You're going to Plymouth? I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that. You know, people travel, people go to university. A lot of that applies to me. I'm born and bred around here. And I got into Argyle completely by accident. Yeah, so a lot of people don't realise that, and you go across the country, and we've got fans like Yorkshire's got a big following. There's a guy up in Carlisle that travels to most games, quite a few in Scotland now actually, thanks mostly to Paul Sturrock being the manager. But there's also people live all over the place. We've got loads. They pop up on the forums and stuff. You've got people in Australia and all that. So we've got fans everywhere. It seems to me on the inside as one of like the most well-supported clubs, not necessarily by numbers, but by almost fanaticism, And I think that applies to lots of other clubs. You get other, fans travel from all over. People move around for work and university and stuff like that. It doesn't, just happen. I mean, obviously, well, you get that with Man United a lot, where you get people from Sussex. Not because they've got any connection whatsoever to Manchester. It was just fashionable once upon a time. And I think probably Man City have got the same, I was going to say same problem, same issue, same thing now. People just sort of latch on. We don't really get that at Argyle, although I am a glory hunter of sorts, because my first game as a fan was a playoff final in Wembley at '96 that we won. But we enjoyed the day so much, we started, if we can go to Wembley, it was 4 stops on the tube. So it's like, we can go to Watford when we was in the same league as we are now. But back then, that changed. Watford, Fulham, Brentford, it was great. We go to all the London games, and then we go to Peterborough and like Northampton, and then we'll just get on the train and go to Oldham. I tell you what, we'll get on the train and go to Carlisle for the day. I tell you what, we'll join the London Supporters Club, and we'll fly from Stansted to Newcastle to drop down to watch us get spanked 5-0 at Sunderland on a cold Tuesday night in February. One of the best football trips ever, by the way. Fantastic. We got spanked 5-0. Don't remember much of the game. It was something and nothing. But what a great night out in Sunderland afterwards. Sunderland fans bought strings. Going to the North East is one of the best football trips ever, unless you're from clubs that they hate. But yeah, going to Sunderland or Newcastle for a football trip is brilliant, because the people up there are just genuinely lovely. Because especially with Argyle, because you've travelled, they think you've travelled so far. Like we have travelled away from Plymouth, we cheated, come from London. But yeah, let's see what Simo says. Well, he's from Preston, and Preston North End. Well, one of the most average teams. Although I can say that because they stole our manager, and that didn't work out. So yeah, Simo, are you watching? Let's come. I thought Simo might come in and talk about football actually. Cheers, Simo. The nose has gone. Can you hear that? The nose has gone. Right. Come on, James. Where are you? He said he was going to be in 10 minutes ago. Hang on. I've lost everything. Okay. So, yeah, that was Parka. Those that know will know why Parka is relevant to me, but I'm not going to say it live on YouTube to protect. It's not my place. Except Grandma Parker. Very good piece. Right, so let's get on. So there we go. The second, actually the third beer, but I didn't line it up very well. So we'd have if I did the right one. And I'm really late. Beer number. If you press the button. Beer number 2, please. I didn't do it. Right, beer number 2 is a big one, going up to 8%. Beer number 2 is from two Flints and Floc collab called Found You. I think I've done this one before. I can't remember if I did the review on the Instagram. So let's get it up into the glass and see what it is. I really enjoyed this one, I believe, last time. I think I did it on Craig's stream. I think it was a Saturday night. I did it on Craig's stream with Rob Hopsing and Craig, and I really enjoyed it, despite being well known not to really like DIPAs that much. Double IPA. Put it in a Fuller's glass. It's the only one of that type I've got left. Dave Wilson, thank you for a reminder. Let's do the 40-40. See if we can get that one on the images pretty well. Let's have a look. They don't look too bad. A little bit too much light for my liking. Keeps telling me to move further away. Right, yeah, so 8%. You missed out on that one. Oh, no. I've had 2 now. This is the second one. But yeah, 8%. Look at that big haze monster. A lovely yellowy orange colour on that. Like I say, if I remember rightly, despite, and I can't remember the hop lineup, so despite not liking the hop lineup, I believe I liked this one last time. Cheers. Yeah, so big kind of hoppy kind of notes. Let me get into that one in just a moment. James, if you can hear, give me a thumbs up that you're ready to go, and I'll put you up. Good man, good man. So yes, a rare occurrence on the Rasco and Disco a live show. We have a guest on to come and talk much more sense than I do. He's been on before. You might have seen him on some of our live streams, but not from a long time. But this is my main man, James. James, greetings. How are you doing, sir? Good to see you.
Hello, and good evening. How are we doing?
I'm doing all right. We're doing all right. We're 2 and a bit beers deep, so you know that could affect proceedings. But yeah, I've got a couple of green beers and a Watford one.
Hey, good man yourself. I'm afraid up here in North Wales, beautiful North Wales. Indeed. Here I am at the Conwy Brewery. You might be able to see the hang on, see the thing behind my shoulder over there. There we are.
Indeed.
There we are. Here at Conwy Brewery up in North Wales. I'm afraid I have neither Plymouth beers nor Watford beers. There we are. You can take advantage of that. We do have a fabulous selection of our own beers here at Conwy Brewery. I'm wearing the t-shirt.
So is this kind of is this like an official visit almost? Are you officially Conwy Brewery for this one?
Yes, I suppose so. I have the brewery bar manager here with me. This is Dave.
Oh, good name, mate.
Just the bar manager like this one. Hi, Jess.
Superb.
So we're all here. All here, well and good. And we're preparing for our Christmas treats. So tomorrow we have a Christmas fair, Christmas market going on. A visit from the big man himself. Santa's coming. All exciting stuff. Got to say, we're not currently overwhelmed with punters in the bar.
No, it's early doors. I've started the stream early, unusually early because of the football. But yeah,
yes.
It's good to see, man. Good to see.
Is it 8 o'clock kickoff or 7:30?
Yeah, 8 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, so I'll nip round the corner and get Sky on the laptop. Begrudgingly pay me money to Uncle Rupert for the privilege of watching Argyle.
Well, quite. In the meantime, I think I will show you some of our beers. That sounds like a reasonable thing to.
That sounds fantastic. I was looking through the website earlier, and to be fair, it's a website I've looked through multiple times in the last few years. I've never quite got around to purchasing, so that will happen at some point. So yeah, show us the beers for now, man, because I think we've got a few Conwy Brewery fans in. To be fair, we've We were talking about it earlier on another stream.
Excellent. I do, of course, tune in every week.
No, it's fine. It's not compulsory.
But here we are, starting one end of the bar to the other. We have our cider, Conwy Brewery cider, which is made with apples grown south of Denby.
So South Wales.
South, well, Devon, but
oh, that far south. That's not far south of Wales.
a long way south of Denby. Everything else we make in house. So our IPA, our Pilsner. We have a new ESB on, which is very nice.
Sounds good.
Classic, which uses quite rare Equinox hops. Cauldron Gold, which is one of our original beers. Riptide Black IPA. And we have, moving on to the fruity ones, Conwy Haze. We have a NIPA. Lagers. We have a Helles. We have a Keller beer. We have a guest from Wild Horse. And we have our own Broad beer. It's a red lager, which we brewed especially for Oktoberfest. And here, coming up for Christmas, we have a very, very special hoppy Christmas ale.
There we go. I just had a question about that. Actually, is that on cask, or will that be on cask? Says Rob from Mr. B's Homebrews.
This is a good question. Will the hoppy Christmas be on cask, Dave? Will the hoppy Christmas be on draft this year? Will it be cask? Okay. Yes, is the answer from the horse's mouth. In approximately a week is the answer. Ooh. So it's being brewed as we speak. It is in Wetherspoons across the UK. You may help yourself. Ooh. I'll tell you what. Would you like a mini brewery tour? Should I go through to the...
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
While we're here, the lights are on. This is where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Right,
that's a bad saying in the brewery.
In the brewery itself.
Nice.
I walk this way. We have it's a 20-barrel facility here, and there's a 5-barrel test kit. I can walk you over. Our canning line is here. Well, I'm quite tempted to see what's in the fermenters as we speak. So coming down here. So in here, we have Welsh Pride is in here. Actually, so that hoppy Christmas. That's what's in this bad boy. So that is 10,000 pints ready to be casked and kegged in the next week and flying out all over the country. It is already available in Wetherspoons. Should you deign to go there, you might be able to find yourself a pint of hoppy Christmas on draft.
You have to be very careful saying that, don't you?
Well, we have more hoppy Christmas there. And we have, TP, Telford Porter. Telford Porter on the go. That's a beautiful, beautiful chocolatey dark ale we have.
Sounds good to me, as you know.
I've got the haze in there and the Pilsner in there. Oh, it's all going on. It's all going on here at Conwy Brewery.
Sounds good to me. I like the sound of that. Again, Mr. B said about Conwy Mild in Spoons in the northwest. It is a thing. We even had Conwy Mild down here, and I missed out on that at Village Inn. I was going to go, but I was ill that week.
Which did you have? Did you have the Born to be Mild, or was it the Strong Dark Mild?
I think, if I remember rightly, the Born to be Mild was on the beer festival in October. I think. And I missed out. It was good. I didn't see it at the Greenwood, but it was on at the Village Inn, and I was ill that week and never got around to it. So,
well, when you get a chance, have some. But should you happen to see any of our Strong Dark Mild,
get
it inside you.
It sells itself for me. But
it's our water tank, right? And you know, most brewers don't refer to water, they refer to liquor, right? Because you add all the acids and stuff to get it like burst in water or whatever else. We don't have to here. It turns out that the water here in Llysfine, up in beautiful North Wales, is perfect brewing water straight at the tap. So, the water that comes out of my tap, I live next door. The water that comes out of my tap is perfect for brewing. The water that's here is perfect for brewing. Hey, perfect brewing water here at Conwy Brewery. Oh dear. Are you looking forward to...
In case people missed it, you live next door to a brewery. I mean, how quality is that?
There was a reason I moved here, obviously. You know? Tell me, James, why did you move from East London to a remote, obscure part of North Wales? Well, I live next door to a brewery. Hey.
I mean, you were in Walthamstow, so you live practically next door to about 20 breweries. But
I was in walking distance of 17.
Yeah. So if you were going to go anywhere, having a brewery next door was at least a bonus.
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a prerequisite, you know.
Yeah, has
to be done. But yeah, it's all looking good here. We're all happy and gearing up for Christmas and big sales and lots of other stuff.
Thanks for the tour, man. It looks great. Do you get to play on the forklift truck? That's what we want to know.
Not yet. Don't trust me. They barely trust anything dangerous and string.
In 20 years, I've not seen your driving, but I believe you have a license now.
No.
Oh, okay.
Still learning. 43 years old. Can't drive it, but you know.
You don't need a driving license to be able to drive the forklift truck. You just need a certificate of competence.
That's true.
Yeah.
As if I'm competent in any way, shape, or form.
Mate, it's a really easy test. Basically, when the examiner says get on the truck and move that pallet, all you have to do is say, "Have I done the safety checks first?" And then he knows that you know how to drive a forklift truck.
I'm not sure enough to convince my bosses here to let me, but you know.
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, right, exactly. A few questions for you. Thanks for the tour, man. It's great. And
if I go back through the bar, my colleagues can see how little I know about everything.
Well, I was just saying the same thing about my brewery. I just do the hard work and the bar work as well. So I know bits and bobs. Right, yeah. So Mersey Beer says with brewery tap rooms like Conwy, Wild Horse, Black Cloak, and the upcoming Poly Social in Mould, and a slurry of pubs and bars, do you think the North Wales coast is becoming a beery destination, or is it already a beery destination?
Absolutely. When I moved up here from Walthamstow, I did think it was going to be a bit of a beer desert. Okay, got to be safe, right. But since moving up here, I've been stunned by the variety and numbers of small breweries and independents all over the place here. There's one bus route, right, the number 12 bus route, which takes in from Llandudno to Rhyl, takes in about 7 microbreweries and tap rooms, just on one bus route for the afternoon. So that's a day out. But yeah, they're always welcome up here. We do tours here. But for tap rooms, for example, Taps is a chain opened in Llandudno a few years ago. They've now got a place in Conwy. They've got a place in Rose. They've got their original place in Llandudno. They've got 2 places in Llandudno, actually, one in Cardomon. Then there's a Snowdon Brewery. There's Black Cloak, which is fantastic. They've just opened a new brewing space in Denbigh, which has massively expanded their operations. So that's very exciting. Who else have we got? Wild Horse are doing great work. And over in Anglesey, there's a whole load more. So yes, definitely North Wales. You can say it's about the Bermondsey Beer Mile. You can say it about the Walthamstow Beer Mile, Black Horse Road Mile. Come to North Wales and you've got a beer 50 miles.
Well, it's definitely a destination for me at some point. I've been aware of Conwy for some time since you moved there, and then obviously you introduced me to it more, and also Black Horse and Black Cloak, Wild Horse and Black Cloak, of course. And So it's a destination I will get to at some point.
You better do. I've been living here 4 years and you haven't visited me.
Well, there's been a bit of shit going on in the last 4 years that's prevented me from that. But Mr. B also says not forgetting the Anglesey breweries doing some good beers.
Yes. Yes, Anglesey, the Anglesey brew house itself over near Llangefni, and then there's Pomona brewery on Anglesey as well. There's full of good breweries around here. And down in Bettis, I think there's one down there. And and there's Timo's in Bethesda, which is a one-man band who does all his own brewing, and Mo is the brewer and the barman and the cleaner and everything else. So and that's a fantastic little bar in Bethesda. You'll get a chance to head down that way into the mountains.
And obviously then you get into places like Purple Moose a bit further away, sort of west, don't you? So.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Do you have guest taps there on the bar at Conwy? Do you put other breweries on? Or is it mostly your own beer?
It is mostly our own. At the moment, we've got a guest from Wild Horse, and the cider might count as a bit of a guest. But generally it's mostly ours. But yeah, we've got a fridge of other beers. I think on some of the ciders that come in on ours. But yeah, generally it's our own stuff. But we've got space for guests or two here and there. We've got
not to get superb, yeah, good stuff. Not to get political, but Mersey beers, funnily enough, obviously from Liverpool, isn't pays to point out that Liverpool water is stolen from North Wales, and I think that's a point that resonates with you quite a lot.
Well, we could talk about Capelkedden and the flooding of the Trewerion Valley, but perhaps that's not for now.
I think Rob has already done that. Yeah, they sank a village to give Liverpool water.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They flooded, and they chose Welsh-speaking villages to do so, which all part of the war on Welsh culture. In fact, the amount of water exported to England every day is huge. I did have the numbers to hand. But I'll tell you what, a future independent sovereign Wales will be a water superpower in the 21st, 22nd century climate wars. Because water is the most precious commodity in the world. Never mind oil or gold. You can't drink oil or gold. Water is what everyone needs, and we've got loads of it here in Wales. And if the water companies
on a regular basis,
England is the only country in the world, pretty much at Western world, that has privatized water. Right. So if the water companies paid for their water, the water they take, just if they paid something like £2 per 100,000 litres of water they extract, the Welsh coffers would be boosted by billions. You make water companies pay for what they take, and suddenly you see how quickly they fix those leaks.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think I should point out that I think we've known each other for the best part of 30 odd years.
Some very odd years.
Yeah, very odd years. 35, I think it is. But we don't really talk about politics because we both agree and completely disagree on politics generally. So we talk about beer because that's a much more unifying conversation.
I was going to get a half before I got distracted at the beginning of the brewery, and now I've walked away from the bar, so I'll have to have one later.
Shit. Well, if you want to go over, then I'll cover if you want to go and get half.
Actually got a punter in. It's better leave them to it.
Are you? I don't know the technicalities, but are you allowed a little snifter on duty? Like, is it a?
No.
Yeah, I think that's the correct answer.
Yeah, there we are. Yeah. It's important to taste the product to know what you're serving and check everything's in good nick. Quality
testing, I call it. Quality testing. It's not drinking on duty, it's quality testing.
Quality testing and quality assurance is very important.
Absolutely. I do that regularly. Unfortunately, I do it far too early on a Saturday, just, check that what I'm putting on a Saturday at 12 o'clock is okay.
Well, yeah, I often find the hankering for beer kicks in about 8:30, 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'll make it through to 10, then I'm fine for the day. You know. Yeah.
Well, it depends. I have to make sure I've had a jolly good breakfast of a cheese, potato, and onion roll from the cafe next door, like for the bakery next door, and then I'm set for testing the beers. Like,
Good shout. Do we have any more questions from our viewers?
Yeah, we've got not questions, comments. Purchased some Conwy Brewery some beer from Tesco last week. Surprised to see it in cans. Yeah, I was going to ask about that because I was looking on the website. Like, so there's cans of Conwy, but there's also like your craft beer line as well, isn't there, in cans on the website?
The Convoke range is our craft range, our small batch range. That's what we produce on the 5-barrel kit.
Right. I was very interested in the dark lager.
Stickman. It is fantastic. We had it on draft until about a week ago. Got half that to tell you. Now that's fantastic. It's a classic dark lager in that you get it on the nose. The first thing on the nose you get is all the biscuit and the caramel that you'd expect from a standard dark beer, right? A stout, a porter. And the first taste on the tongue is that biscuit, the caramel, the chocolate.
Yeah.
And then you swallow it, and it's gone. And you think,
yeah,
that was weird because the texture's wrong. It was cold and fizzy, and it has the texture of a lager, but the flavour of a proper beer. And it's remarkable and very sessionable. I think it weighs in at about 4.5% ish.
I actually specifically bought a dark lager for my boss the other day, just to try and convince him to brew a dark lager because we haven't done yet. But it was from Kirkstall. It was Dandelion and Burdock dark lager, which I haven't tried yet, but I really like the look of. So yes, if I can get my arse around to getting. The only problem I have with the Conwy Brewery is I like buying like doubles of everything. So I like buying in singles, but I appreciate why some breweries can't necessarily sell in singles. They want to sell in 6 and 12 packs, but I can't buy a 6-pack of everything you have.
True. Well, if you want a mixed case, I'm pretty sure that we can put that together for you, or your I think maybe it's not maybe it's not something we can offer to everyone on the website. But if you drop us an email, we'll put one together for you and post it out.
Okay, well, I'll sort that out. Yeah, I mean, because a mixed case is great, but there's always something in the mixed case I don't want to drink.
Oh, you can build your own.
Yeah.
So, I want to get in touch. Say, listen, can you send us 2 Stickman, 2 DIPA, 2 A's, 2 this, 2 that, and we'll stick it in a box.
It won't be the DIPA, James. It won't be the DIPA.
I know. But the Rampart and the Riptide, you'll like them.
Yeah.
My favourite on the go at the moment is the ESB is new and that's really delicious as a classic beer. But the Golden Gate we do. I made this a couple of years ago. I was running the bar for our school PTA Christmas fair, and this before I worked in. I bought 200 cans, 220 cans, and we shifted at the fair 16. And so I was left with 200 cans of Golden Gate to get through. It took me about 8 months. However, it's very good beer. It's the Equinox hops, which used to be called Equinox, and it's comparatively rare in that a couple of years ago there was something like 600 hectares of Equinox hops grown like anywhere in the world. It does pop up from time to time in places, but I really like it, and I think it makes a difference.
Yeah. Okay.
Enjoy Golden Gate to see
that. Somebody called V Nero, which I believe is a Vincenzo Nero, wants to know more about the water. But we've done that one, so
there's not much more I can tell you. It comes out of the tap, it goes to the beer. We don't need to add the different acids to it. Sorry, go on.
But thanks for popping in, Mr. Black. Is the ESB going into bottle?
Oh, now that is a good question, and the answer to it will be my colleague Dave will be able to tell you. Bear with me. Walk this way. Also, it's an excuse to go back to the bar. Sorry to interrupt, fella. Sorry. Is the ESB going into bottles?
In bottles?
No. Oh,
It's
bad
a
news.
small batch special brew. So it's like a one-off. We'll do it again on cask, but it won't be bottled, unfortunately.
So you need to be somewhere in the northwest. You'd be
Can't
somewhere in the northwest, the North Wales, to get some.
Yeah, am I right? I believe, I don't know, I think Rob from Mr. Breeze Homebrews is a visitor of Wales. Are you going up there soon, Rob? You might be able to pop in for a pint, I believe.
Please do.
Yeah.
If any of your viewers, your fabulous watchers, do come up here for a beer, come up to Conwy Brewery. When you come to the brewery, there's a big house next door. Come and knock on the door, and I'll come and have a beer with you.
as long as they say disco sent you and you don't have a bunch of random strangers. I was going to say weirdos, but that probably doesn't apply to my followers. But yeah,
Let's face it, if any random weirdos knock on my door and ask me to go for a beer, I will say yes. So,
I mean, yeah. It don't have to be a random weirdo to ask you to go for a beer. One of them at some point will be me. Is a good question. I can't think of any. I'm sure they have. Have Conwy ever done a collab beer? And if so, who with?
Not for a number of years. We have done, I couldn't tell you the details, but not for a number of years. Not since I think this brew kit has arrived. And certainly not since the business was taken over in lockdown. So not since lockdown is the short answer. I think there was a collab about 10 years ago, which I think was an orange stout. I couldn't tell you the name of it. I've got the pump clip somewhere, but not like it. What's this one? Another very small writing. Oh, it's the collab bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Rob's in North Wales quite a lot, so it's coming at the end of December, maybe for New Year's. Yes, I know. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we're open New Year's Eve, I think. I was saying that I'm here New Year's Eve, so if no one else is, I'll be here.
Does that depend whether you're snowed in or not? You can't get anywhere else.
Well, what we should do is get a load of sleeping bags.
Yeah.
If you're going to be snowed in anywhere,
I mean, it's either that pub, the highest pub in England, in Yorkshire, or a random Welsh brewery. So yeah.
Why not? Come up in New Year. It'd be great.
So this is the thing. When you were saying about Equinox, is it Equinox or Ukano? Because I've always pronounced it Ukano.
Oh, Ukano.
Is that? I don't know.
That's the French version. Is it?
I don't know.
I've never heard it pronounced. I've only ever read it on bottles and hot bags.
Oh, as in EKUANOT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Equino.
Yeah, I've never pronounced it Equinox, but because it's not got a Q. But I don't know. I love being wrong, so it's like, But yeah, Mersey says Ukano seems to be more common. Black Lodge's flagship $100 Volvo is majority. Ukano. Is it Ukano or Equinox? Adam.
I do like Black Lodge beers because we said. Yeah. Very good. All right.
Superb. Just quickly, whilst I'm doing the whole beer review thing, I'm on this unbelievably an 8% double IPA.
Oh yes, I do open it just as I came on.
Yeah, so again, look at the lacing on that. Must be a good beer, right?
Lacing isn't the be all and end all, but yes, that's a good sign.
It is. It's totally not my thing, but it's one I could drink because it's got a nice, fluffy kind of oaty, creamy mouthfeel. There's some hops in it, but they're not challenging or biting my palate. To be fair,
Have you got the can there? Has it got any lactose in it?
It does look like it might have. Let's have a look. Mosaic, Citra, Simcoe, and Motueka. Well, one of my favourite hops, but not Citra, Mosaic, or Simcoe. Along with no lactose, just oats.
Vegan friendly as well, then.
Indeed.
Yeah, but when you've got the big creamy mouthfeel, then you rely on lactose to get it.
Yeah. Oh, here we are. We're both right. Ukano used to be known as Equinox.
There we are.
I imagine Ukano is like a place name or something, like Motueka and Nelson is like a place.
I dare say one of your viewers could help us out and fill us in.
Yeah.
Do a quick Google and let us know.
Well, either Rob or Adam will know about that, to be fair. So, but yeah, that's actually. So I've had this before on another live stream, and I was surprised. I drank it because of the live stream I was on, and obviously I picked this one today because it was green. But it's actually a really, really smashable 8%, and I'm quite enjoying it. It's really drinkable.
I do think there's going to be a tendency to move back away from the really strong dippers and tippers, but I think Trad's going to have a renewal in the next year. But what do I know? For me, it's all. Well, I've always said I just like a good beer. I don't wholeheartedly recognise craft beer any more than I recognise real ale. It's just a marketing thing. As long as the beer is good, I'll drink either, regardless, whatever, you know. Well, exactly. I think we've had such a phase now of brewers experimenting and brewing stuff because they can brew it, rather than it's because what anyone wants to drink. So, I don't know. I love a 14% triple bourbon aged thing with plums and God knows what else.
Yeah,
I think there's been a tendency to overcomplicate beer, right? And I think things are going to get more simple again. I think the tide is going to turn.
I think it has already to a certain extent. I think there has in the last certainly 4 years a massive shift towards session IPAs and session pale ales purely by necessity, both economic environment and taxes and stuff like that. So there is a lot of that about at the moment, and then you get the people who buck that trend, like your Vault City's doing massively, like you say, overcomplicated big sours and big percentage beers, and then
there's always going to be a room for that niche, right? And in Vault City, everything they do is amazing. I won't say a word against them, but yeah.
And then you've got emperors just going around and brewing mental stouts and getting away with it. But I don't think it works for every brewery.
Yeah.
And then you get your little guys just quietly working away, doing regular stuff for your local communities, and also something a bit mental here and there.
That's what we like. Community brew houses. That's what I think.
Yeah. Right. So Adam says it's pronounced Equinox.
Thank you.
It's a Native American name for equinox.
Like
as in the equinox, like in the sun and stuff like that. I don't know, but yeah. I knew Adam would know stuff.
There you go.
Always, I don't mind either way.
What's your prediction for the score this evening?
Well, I was saying earlier, funnily enough, I never make predictions because Argyle will always let you down either way. But what I'm going with,
I can only agree.
Because I don't make predictions, but because I've got 3 green beers and 1 Watford one, that's what I'm going with. Because we're at home. We have a terrible season away, but we're doing okay at home. How are Watford doing? I mean, they're obviously much further above the table, but it's a bit more mid-table.
It would take only a small uptick in Watford's away performance to be seriously challenging. Not doing well. That said, despite being at opposite ends of the table, I think again home advantage. I reckon 2-2.
How are those splinters in your arse on the fence there, James?
Well, I know my brother will go 3-1. He always does.
Well, it is always a game. I mean, I think Watford always, and we played a fair amount in the last 20 odd years, so I think Watford always have the best of us. But it does seem like it could be like it feels a bit like a mid-table battle, even though you're much further closer to the playoffs. But it would only take a few wins for us to get up there as well. But
yeah,
I think that's fair. I'm only going 3 boxes of the beers.
all good.
Yeah.
Right, I will let you get on and enjoy the game. And
Fair play. Well, actually, I'm just going to do the last beer. I don't know if you can see the last beer.
What is the last beer?
You probably know why I'm doing this.
I can't see it from it. Sorry, you're really small.
It's from Pomona Island. And it's called Doris Gets Her Oats.
Ah, right, good hope.
And we can't say why that is any more than we can say why any of the other beers are relevant. But I thought you might know it, so I thought I'd just get this one out. Oh, I haven't done the thing. Sorry, I haven't done the thing. I've got to do the thing. Bear with me a second. Let me just do the thing quickly.
Is the thing farting then?
No, the thing is just here. Look. Beer number 3, please.
I like it. I like it very much.
It's a thing I do every time. I don't know. You know, I like a bit of details.
Oh, I've seen it and noticed it every time you've done it.
Yeah. This is a chocolate and cardamom stout from Pomona Island. It's been sitting in my stash for far too long. It's 11%, which is really stupid for a Friday night before the football, since I've only got half hour to drink it now. But yeah,
well, nice, you can chew it through the first half. Yeah,
I will. Well, I've got to take it around the corner if I do that. But yeah, I will do. Anyway, thanks for joining us, James. Cheers for popping in. Amazing. You're very welcome. From Conwy, and yeah, lots of love for Conwy, and I'm glad you did the brewery tour. That was great. Yeah, cheers.
I'll do a full tour next time if you like.
Well,
how was it? Before I go, how was it?
Jesus has worked really well. If you fancy something just before Christmas, do a little Christmas tree. That is beautiful. That is amazing. That's a beautiful chocolate stout. Again, can't really get 11%, and I'm not sure about cardamom.
Yeah, I'm never a cardamom fan.
Mersey says cardamom can get in the bin, and I'm like, no, I'm fine with cardamom.
I'm with Lucy there.
I don't know too much about it, but there's a little bit of spice, beautiful chocolate aroma, flavour, lovely aroma. I'm looking forward to checking out. I'll definitely get onto the old Conwy website. I need to get some beers. I'm trying to only buy 1 beer order a week, and I've done all right because of the last week. No, I have bought one last week. Which I won't be featuring, but particularly maybe. Anyway, yeah, I try not to buy too much beer because I do have this problem of buying far too bloody much. That is nice. Oh, that is nice.
If any of your viewers would like to join, it's conwaybrewery.co.uk and come and get your selection. Email
I think
at the bar, and he'll put together a pack for you.
Superb.
Conwaybrewery.co.uk.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. Like I say, for the last few years, I've been meaning to talk about Conwy and get the beers in. I just never quite got around. Mostly because there's far too many beers, and I'm like, I can't. Blah blah blah. But I will get onto that.
You should come up and visit, and then do an episode, do a show from here, sampling our wares.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a full tour on air. And,
I think that's a next year thing. I mean, obviously, it won't happen this year, but yeah, next year. It's mostly run out of year.
You'll be very welcome.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
If any of your viewers are in the area, pop on over.
Well, I think it's basically a straight race between me and Rob of Mr. Breeze Homebrews, and he's probably going to win that race next month. So hopefully we can sort something out like that.
Excellent.
Yes, Mr. Wilson, thank you. He always reminds me that I forget to do the photograph.
Lovely chat today. Thanks for having me on.
James, you've been brilliant. Thank you very much indeed, my man. Have a great evening and a great weekend. We'll catch you again soon, and hopefully we can do some more streams as well at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to.
I'll
go around to a few other bars and drink there. I'll be all good.
Balance. Much love, my man. Catch you soon. Cheers, mate.
Bye, everyone. off we go.
Yeah, so that was my mate James. I've known him for best part of 35 odd years. So yeah, and he moved up to North Wales and worked at a brewery. So yeah, anyway, thanks, Mr. Wilson, for reminding me, because I nearly forgot. Just done the whole thing. I do want to take a photograph of this. So I want to talk about this beer. This is a massive, massive beer. Really enjoyed that, as you know. Ooh. Right, bear with me a second. Be right back. Yes, I'm going to play Semper Fidelis in the background because it's kind of Argyle's theme song. The cat's come to play, bless her. She basically just wants a lap. She doesn't know she's going out in a minute. But no, you're not wrong, David. They're not wrong, Mr. Wilson. James tried to make a beer with disco in the name, then I will buy it. I will buy Conwy beers anyway because I do love the look of them. Actually, that dark lager, I'm really looking forward to that. I'll get onto that. Yeah, I never like contacting breweries and go, look, I like what you do, but I want to buy this, that, and the other. I found it a bit kind of, I don't know, not pretentious, but I'm a beer reviewer. I want to buy specific beers. I understand, as I say to James, I understand why breweries do like 6-packs or 12-packs. It's just a price thing, I guess. But yeah, my man James, brilliant. He didn't move next to a brewery so he could work there. He just moved up there because it was, you know, I love the place. Went to university up there, so he moved up there. I think he's next door to a brewery, so well, need a bit of work. Why not go and work at a brewery? Kind of what I did, really. Is like, I need a bit of work. Let's go to the brewery. Cat is awesome. Well, she is. She's also a massive pain in the ass. She's partly the reason I broke my turning point glass earlier, but she's bloody cute, so she gets away with it. So mixed pack, yeah, I will. The trouble is, because I buy so much beer, I've always liked, last 4 years, buying beers for home. I've always tried to limit myself in value. Like I had 50 quid in the cart this afternoon at McColl's, and I'm like, I'm just going to hold off. But Conwy have got like about 10 different beers, so I can't buy 60 odd beers. I can, but I don't want to. So I do like a mixed pack, but I always find in a mixed pack, I'll get something I don't want, like a New England or something, and it's like, it's kind of difficult. Yeah, I have to limit myself, but I think with Conwy, looking at the website, let's have a quick look. I'm just going to play Semper Fidelis in the background. It's also 7:30, so I've got to nip off very shortly. But let's have a quick look at the website. There we go. Yeah, there was a Welsh pie that he was talking about. Telford Porter. Let's get it up a bit bigger so I can see it. There was the red beer that he said he had on tap. Beer. I like the sound of trying that. I don't know. Red ale's kind of like, I always want to try it, but I always find it a bit rough around the edges, but I will try that. See, then we get into the cans. I should get a couple of Pilsners. You know, I love a Pilsner. And then they've got a red ale in bottles as well. As I say, I will swerve a DIPA, but I will try it if I'm there, like, you know what I mean? Oh, they've got their own Keller beer with the old Oktoberfest branding. The honey fair, the honey ale, I want to try. See, the Golden Gate packed with American hops, that's what he was talking about in cans, but I'm like, Dolly. Zesty Blonde, Galaxy Zappa, and experimental hops. Not the idea of that. They got the Hellers in the can. Cool. And then there's that Convoke. Serious, there's that Stickman we were talking about. The dark lager. I like the can art on that. Great art. Try that as well. That's an interesting logo branding on that one, on the Convoke. Is it me, or is that the London Underground logo? Simple it's just me. Idle Hands. I actually like the look of that. I'm not sure what the hops are. I'll have to check. Oh, Simcoe and Azaka. Again, like the can branding. Not sure about that, but I probably would try it. Or maybe I'll try the Castro. Yeah, lots of stuff there. But yeah, I have to choose the packs carefully. There's a lot of stuff on there. Looks really good. I know you guys all like the Conwy, so I do look forward to my visits to North Wales because they always have to. Yeah, it's like Adam asked earlier. Is it a destination? It kind of is. It's just unlike Manchester, Liverpool, or London, or any of the cities. It's a bit harder to get around, but be nice to find that Christmas one in spoons. I keep looking out, like I say, I missed out on the mild in my local spoons. It's nice refreshing beer in the bottle, not at all Christmassy. It'd be interesting to put them out because we've got a couple of Christmas beers in tank. At the minute, we've got a pine pale ale. We've actually put pine needles in it on the boil. We also have a very interesting stout coming out. We've got a big oatmeal stout. This one, Christmas version, isn't oatmeal, isn't oat stout. It hasn't got oats in it, but it has got some very interesting rum and raisin and orange peel additions, which I saw go in this week, and I'm really looking forward to trying that one for Christmas. Especially if we do what we did last year, and Muller stout. That's always an interesting one this time of year. Definitely very warming, especially with a bottle of rum and a bottle of whiskey. So yeah, this is a great Christmas kind of stout, actually, to be fair. Great sweetness. I don't know what Cardomon tastes like, to be fair. And on its base thing, I'm not sure. I like Cardomon, to be fair. I know Adam was saying like Cardomon can get in the sea, but it's got, yeah, big sweetness. Love it. It's definitely tasting 11% now. I've had some superb beers tonight, all the way down the line. Wasn't expecting that the double barrel to be so good, but it is. I know what that one was about. That one was good last time, so expecting that. This one was good last time, so I was expecting that to be all right, and it is. Very big fruity punchy note, and that is amazing. That is but also perfectly balanced. High ABV, but it's good. A good balance. There's no coffee. There's no coffee. There's no roastiness to it. It's not like a roasty toasty stout, but it is a solid. There's a little bit of chocolate going on, but it's a solid toasty stout with great background flavour. Yeah, no, it says on the can it's Parka is one of their core beers. I only got the one can. It is solid hazy pale. I've had some good beers tonight. It's been a great stream. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you all for joining in, commenting, and all your good information as well. By the way, all that Cardomon is there now. If it wasn't for the fact that I've got to rush off and watch some bloody football, as always, which may well be just 90 minutes interruption to the drinking, I could just carry on drinking and chat shit. But yeah, I'm going to go and watch the football because I paid for it, and my brother wants to watch it, so I'll nip around there and do that. So massive thanks to James at Conwy Brewery for popping in and giving us the tour. It's fantastic. Hello, Kitty. Yeah, thanks to you too. Bless, what timing. No, thanks for all your comments, and if you're watching this afterwards, apologies for the mess at the start. I'll try to edit that out in the morning if I can. Thanks everyone. Have a great Friday night. Have a great weekend. Might do a stream or might be on a stream tomorrow night, depending on what happens. Rob, Adam, David, Vince Black, thanks for popping in. Thanks to James for coming in from Conwy. It's been a good stream. Hope if you're following football at the weekend, may the results go in your favour and may the beers be even better. Cheers. Have a great weekend, and as always, enjoy the beers. Goodbye. Good night. I didn't even change the banners. I've just realised. Never even changed the banners. What a dickhead. Yeah. Anyway, well, let's take the banners off and do the outro. Look, I had all the banners. Available. Look, double barrel. There it is. 2 Flints. Got completely confused. And James, blah blah blah. Chocolate 7 Cardomon. Didn't even do that one right. Anyway. And all the business with the sound at the beginning. I'm just glad people stick by and stayed. Thank you. God, that 11% is sticking. Yeah, like I say, thanks so much indeed, you beautiful people. Stay cool. Have a good one. No, I am immediately stopping waffling. Thanks, Shark. I'm trying to leave. Stop stopping me leave. I'm trying to play the outro, man. I can't even find it. There it is. Have a good evening. Thanks, everybody. Cheers all.